This is another relatively easy strategy that the average homeowner can use in a fairly standard tract home like this one. This is a fireplace insert. When we first moved in here, it was just a regular fireplace opening, which was very inefficient, had a very poor draw, and tended to mostly act as a smoke alarm tester. The stove itself, the insert part, is this section here. And essentially it's a wood stove without a fancy covering on the back part. And the stove is simply slid into the fireplace opening, and then this group of castings here is set down over the stove itself to cover the rest of the fireplace opening. It's not a really difficult installation job, but it does require a certain amount of technical expertise. And I think that for the average homeowner who's not familiar with stove installations, it's a really good idea to have a professional installer do the actual installation work. There are several main components to this system. There's the actual insert itself, this which is known as a shroud that surrounds it. The other main piece of the system is a large stainless steel liner that runs all the way up the chimney to a new cap on the top of the chimney. Because it was a standard 1950s era fireplace, the flue was much larger than was needed for the stove. So the manufacturer of the insert recommended that we install a stainless steel liner. It's not a terribly difficult installation job, but I think the average homeowner would probably want to have a professional do it because it does require you getting up on the roof of your home and handling a fairly long piece of stainless steel piping. Many people, when they are looking at a renewable energy strategy like this, want to know how long it's going to take before they get a payback on their initial investment. And that's a legitimate question to ask, and I think it's an important one. However, you never hear people asking that same question when it comes to what's the payback on my new car going to be, or what's the payback on my new boat going to be, that sort of thing. And so, to some extent, I think it's almost an unfair question that only seems to come up relative to renewable energy strategies. Admittedly, a system like this is relatively expensive initially. It's certainly going to cost somewhere in the range of $4,000 or $5,000 or perhaps more. But if you view it as a long-term investment for greater energy security and also for the environmental advantages of reducing our dependency on fossil fuels in general, I think those are fairly compelling reasons for the average homeowner in making the switch, and as long as you are viewing it as a long-term investment, I think it really begins to make a lot of sense. When we first moved in here, this was just an open fireplace, and it was a totally inefficient heating appliance. In fact, it wasn't a heating appliance at all. It simply wasted a lot of wood and produced a lot of smoke. Now that we've installed the fireplace insert, we've turned what was previously a totally useless room decoration into a serious home heating device, which we can use either for normal heating if we wish, but in our case, we prefer to use it as emergency backup heat. Now, some of these fireplace inserts also come equipped with blowers, which helps to circulate the hot air into your home. We decided not to do that because we considered this to be our emergency backup heat, and we didn't want it to be reliant on electricity at all. And we've been very pleased with the way it operates.